Good evening, and welcome to everyone on Love 101 FM, Facebook, and YouTube Live. This is Family Time. Family Time is about your issues and your relationships. It's about your at home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries and aims to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. So stay with us and please connect with us via our social media platforms. Friend us on Facebook at FLM-FLM. Let me do that again. Facebook at FLM-Family Life Ministries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA, and on Instagram, keep up with what's happening at Simply FLMJA. While Family Time is a family program, we'd like to caution that it may, on odd occasion, touch on what some may consider to be mature subject matters. Your discretion is advised. So, December is deemed as one of the months that is very popular for persons. Well, it's not deemed as one of the months that's very popular for persons to get married, but it may be deemed as a very popular month for persons to get engaged. Yes, when the gentleman goes on one knee and says the words, "Will you marry me?" anticipating a yes from the lady, and then he presents the ring with the diamond. Okay, Joan, pull back. This is not the program. But let's not get carried away. Let's talk about things that you need to be aware of before you actually say, I do. Where do you get your ideas from regarding marriage? What does saying I do mean to you? What do you know about the person you're planning to say I do to? Or what are you asking when you're asking them to say I do to you? Well, before you say I do, check out this evening's program. You don't want to miss it because that is actually what we're going to be talking about. As usual, there is much to talk about, especially on this topic. And I hope that we will get through all the things that we want to say. But as a special mix, we want you to be involved. So please send us your answers to the question. And listen to the question, listeners. What do you need to know before you say I do? What do you need to know before you say I do? Of course, there will be no wrong answers to this particular question. It's really what you need to know from your perspective, and that we appreciate. So send us those answers via WhatsApp, text, and voice notes. So remember, the voice notes must not be any longer than 30 seconds, and send them to our WhatsApp number, which is 876-997-3125. Or if you prefer to call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328 in order to participate. You can also watch us and comment live on Love 101 Facebook and YouTube. So we're in for an exciting evening, and I'm sure those who are looking forward to that big day, who are looking forward, even though there's nobody there yet, but it's okay. You can still look forward to that day. And we have a very, very special guest with us, someone who is more than qualified to share with us on that topic. Her name is Miss Sonia Winter. Yeah, she is an associate clinical psychologist and the founder of Tea House Therapy. Stay with us. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. And you're invited to the Season Splendor Christmas Small Business Expo.
That's right, on Saturday, December 21 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Head on over to Campion College for a one-of-a-kind Christmas shopping experience.
Discover amazing local businesses, unique gifts, delicious treats, and so much more. Perfect for everyone on your list.
It's a holiday shopping spree like no other. And the best part, admission is free. Yep, you heard right. Free.
So grab your family, bring your friends, and come shop with love this Christmas. Don't miss out on the fun, the deals, and the holiday cheer.
We can't wait to see you at Season Splendor Expo, Saturday, December 21 at Campion College. Let's make this Christmas extra special.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101. My name is Joan Pinkney, your host for this afternoon into evening, and we want to welcome a very special guest, Miss Sonia Winter, a clinical psychologist, and she has on her mind the idea of helping others, helping individuals, couples, and families to improve their ability to relate to themselves and to each other, and to create healthy and satisfying relationships. She is the only Gottman Level 3 trained clinical psychologist in the Caribbean. She's going to tell us a little bit about what that is all about. But let me welcome Madam Sonia. How are you, my dear? Good to have you on. Are you on? Are you there? I'm not hearing her. I'm not sure what's happening, but while we await her, I want to remind our listeners that you should remember to respond to the question, what do you need to know before you say I do? Or WhatsApp text. You should send a text message to our WhatsApp number, or you may send a voice message if you prefer, and you can send it to the WhatsApp number 876-997-3125, or you can watch us live and comment on our Love 101 Facebook and YouTube. Or you may call the studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. I'm just checking whether our guest is
I'm
on.
here, Lady June. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Good to hear you. Good to hear you. So my greeting was, how you do? Good to hear you.
I'm well. Getting excited about the approaching Yuletide season.
Yes, yes. You're breaking a little. I'm not hearing you as clearly as I'd like to.
I'm doing really well, June. How are
Okay,
you?
we likely will have to sort. Okay, I'm hearing you better now. Great, great. I'm good. I'm doing well. Very happy to be on and to have you on as our guest for this evening. A very able person to provide on our minds. Yeah. Um, all right. So, are you hearing me though? Are you hearing me well?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, there is a delay between the end of my words and the beginning of yours. But let's proceed. I want to stimulate the minds of the listeners as we delve into the discussion this afternoon. What does the Bible teach about marriage? What makes you feel loved? How do you handle conflicts? Do you plan to have children? Why or why not? What are your priorities when it comes to money? What do you need to know about yourself? What do you need to know before you say, I do? Yes, that's the topic today. And those questions are some important topics or areas that you need to ask yourself and ask your spouse as you venture to walk, run, crawl, however you get there down the aisle. So, are you there with us still, Lady Sonia?
I am Lady Joan.
Okay, great, great. So tell us what it is. Your credential says that you are the only Gottman Level 3 trained clinical psychologist in the Caribbean. Tell us in a synopsis, in a minute or less, what that is, so that the listeners can have an appreciation.
Okay. Um, Gottman certification is a couples therapy certification. So it's the Gottman Institute is an institute that does research on couples relationships. And so they have a very well structured model of how to help couples make their relationship survive. And so they train psychologists to provide this kind of therapy to couples across the
Hmm.
world. And it's a very specific framework to understand the couple
Okay,
relationship and to know what it takes to make it stronger, and also understanding what can undermine the bond between two people as well.
okay. All right, we're really having some difficulties. We're not, you're popping in and out some from time to time. Not sure if we can rectify that, but we press on nonetheless. Are you there? Okay. All right. So some of the questions that we wanted to our presenter to engage with us, it's some of the questions we wanted to ask her for her to engage with us. One is, why does a man or a woman want to get married? Yeah? Why does a man want to pop the question? What is it about all of that? Why does a couple want to get married? Are you hearing me, Sonia? Can you respond?
Yes, can you hear me okay now?
I'm hearing you now. We still have the delays though, but go right ahead. The delay.
Okay. There are different reasons why a person might pop the question. Many, many different reasons, you know. Um, but I think what's important is that you are able to choose a partner with whom you are willing to work hard to make a happy relationship. You know, that you've reached that stage in your life where you want to commit to a person and you are willing to, you know, work through the difficult times in order to cement your union with this person.
Right, right. And so the period of engagement means what?
The period of engagement means different things in different cultures. You know, in our culture, it has
Right.
come to mean a period where the couple is really preparing for marriage more than anything else, preparing for a wedding, rather, I should say. When in truth,
Mm,
it would be good if they were also preparing for the marriage. You know, they were learning more about each other, learning, coming to negotiate the roles that each of them are going to have in this new dispensation. You know.
all right. Hold that thought. Let's take a break. We were really interested in what else you have to say. It's really getting hot in the studio as we begin to delve into this topic. So, listeners, remember that that our question is, what do you need to know before you say I do? And and we want you to respond to us, have some appreciation of where your thoughts are in that regard. So please send us a WhatsApp message on our WhatsApp line, which is 876-997-3125. You can watch us and comment on our Love 101 Facebook and YouTube, or you can call us to your lines at 876-968-8327 or 8. We are here and we are ready, but we're going to take a break. We will be right back.
I'm looking for a bargain. How much? I'm looking for a store.
Sorry, we're closed.
I need so many things.
Try next door.
I just can't walk anymore. These legs were made for walking, and that's all they seem to do. I go from shop to shop to shop in search of value.
Why shop around this Christmas? At Woolworth, we have a wide variety of gifts and decorations at just the right prices. So come to Woolworth. You'll find it's well worth it.
I'm looking for a value, looking for a store. Oh, there it is. Now I don't have to walk anymore.
It's a one in a million feeling. When it start to ring, everyone starts to sing. Gifts keep on giving. Christmas in joy. Bro, make every day better like Christmas thing with you. Everyone who signed up for Yard and Road for only $5,300 plus GTC gets a $25,000 supermarket card. Plus 5 lucky customers could win extra cash of $1 million each. Christmas thing is the best. Offer ends December 31, 2024. Conditions apply.
Oh, I get so much pain from.
No, sir, sure, when you have $30 for the Christmas, you want to know the money when me give them and look on the amount of paint that me get.
Stretch your dollar at Sherwin-Williams this Christmas with 18% off select decorative paint from November 25 to December 21.
I sure need to get on this one. You know, long market mouse. This can't miss me.
Hurry to any of our 23 stores island-wide. You don't want to miss this amazing offer. Conditions apply.
How do you budget effectively? There are several ways to budget effectively. Above all, though, you need a financial goal in mind. Everyone's financial circumstances and goals are different, but discipline is key. Here's a quick tip. Keep upgrading your financial goals. After attaining one goal, move to the next. It's all about you and your goals. So set your goals and start budgeting.
This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Christmas a come go down a Basco. 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 We go down to Basco. Christmas tree. It's for the family. Come fit in up on Christmas Day. We get decorations go down a Basco. Matching sheet and curtains go down a Basco. Something for everyone go down a Basco. Christmas a come go down a Basco.
Keep your career options open for local and overseas job opportunities in the booming hospitality and tourism industry with City and Guilds and ABE endorsed certification at Distinction College. Start online and face-to-face classes very soon in a career of high demand for workers globally and get certified in housekeeping, food preparation, waitering, travel, tourism, and hospitality, bartending and mixology, customer service, call center, cake baking and decorating, airline ticketing. No subjects required, no age limit. Register this week and get an additional course for free. Call Distinction College at 876-356-4167 or 354-8560. Visit us in Kingston, Spanish Town, Ocean Rios online or St. Elizabeth.
Family time. My name is Joan Pinkney, and if you're just joining us, where have you been? But we're happy that you have joined. The question that we're asking: what do you need to know before you say I do? That's actually the question that speaks to the topic of what we're discussing. And we have in our midst Miss Sonia Winter, an associate counseling psychologist who is not just a clinical psychologist rather, but also the founder of Tea House Therapy. And Sonia, before we went on the break, we were talking about why persons want to get married. But we also wanted you to add What are some of the pros and cons of premarital counseling? A number of persons feel that, oh, I know you're well enough. I don't need to go through all of this because I know you from 10 years and from what became Philip or one of those kinds of sayings. Why is it important? And what are the pros and cons of? Are there cons? Are there only pros? Tell us in premarital counseling. And we're waiting on her. We know that there's a delay, so we're waiting on her to respond. Um, so we know that some persons, Sonia, when you get to speaking, just go right ahead and I will stop speaking.
Okay. I was saying that
Right. So we know that there are
there
times
are
when,
benefits
right,
to
go.
premarital counseling.
Mhm.
For many, there are uh, we do premarital. There are two types of premarital counseling. There is premarital counseling that's done by your
Mhm.
pastor in your church, and that can be very beneficial to help you understand
Right.
what are the doctrinal guidelines for your marriage as it relates to your
Mm.
particular um, faith, your particular denomination. You know, it's good to help you understand where your
Right.
marriage is as it relates to your particular denomination. Um, and
Mhm.
what your faith says about the different roles that each of you will have in the marriage going forward.
Right.
There's
Right.
also premarital counseling that is approached from the point of view of psychology, where you're really understanding the psychology of the
Right.
other person and the psychology of a
Mm.
union, of a relationship. And that kind of premarital
Right.
counseling is also very beneficial because it gives you, through that counseling, it gives you skills to be able to really relate to, listen to, and to be able to um, problem solve and manage conflict really well. Couples often are told
Right.
a lot about how important communication is in a relationship, but they're really not given any tools to
Mm.
communicate.
Right.
And in
Ah, absolutely.
psychological premarital counseling, we actually break down what it means to be able to communicate effectively, particularly communicating during conflict. When emotions are really very, very high, and it might be
Mm.
hard to be patient, it might be hard
Mm.
to be empathetic, and so on. So we actually teach couples what empathy means, how to be empathetic, how to
Right.
decode what your partner is saying, because we're not always clear on what our partner is trying to communicate. So we give a lot of communication
Right.
skills. You would think that you know it intuitively, but as you can see, so many couples, they're not able to really share their deepest, what's deep in their heart, because of communication is not effective.
Right.
So,
Right.
premarital counseling is almost, think of premarital counseling
Absolutely.
almost like you're
Absolutely.
entering a new job and you're being given the employee manual, as it were, as to how are you
Mm.
expected to operate in this new job this new position that you're being given.
The orientation, as it were, the orientation.
Orientation, yes.
We want to encourage persons to really share. So I want you to tell me in two things that you consider to be important to know before you would say I do. And I'm not trying to find out whether you have said it already, but I'm saying just in the event that you are going to say it. What are two things that you think that you need to know? And we know that there's a little break in between before she gets to speak.
I think one of the
Are you there
most
now?
important to know is the values that your partner holds. Values as it relates to partnership, the values as it
Mm.
relates to the role of a husband and the role of a wife, the values as it
Mm.
relates to parenting, you know, um,
Mm.
What do you hold as important in terms of behaviors and expectations? Um, Very important, I guess, to know also the
And
values in
that would take you into really looking in the past. That would take you into looking into the past, the sometimes the family of origin, yeah, so that you can have an appreciation of what how this person was socialized.
and but the thing about family
And
of origin, Joan, is that sometimes we model what we have experienced in our family of origin.
mhm,
But sometimes we also
wow,
reject what we have
absolutely.
experienced in our family of origin. So it's very important to
Mm,
know not only
mm,
the family of origin, but which of the values your partner is is going to be modeling and adopting to
embracing.
their own life, and which of the values from
Yes,
their family
yes,
of origin they
yes.
are uncomfortable with and will reject.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Right. We are really, really delving well into these discussions, and we're so appreciative of our guest, Miss Sonia Winter, and Associate Clinical Psychologist and founder of Tea House Therapy. We are going into another break. And let me just remind those who are listening or just joined us that this is Family Time on Love 101 FM, and you can connect with us on YouTube and Facebook. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and for our social media interaction, we would like you to send us a response to the question, what do you need to know before you say I do? Send us, as I said, on WhatsApp message. Of course, we keep the voice message to a low of 30 seconds because we want to be able to respond to you in good time. So it's time for another break, right up at 6 o'clock. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Don't let freshness stitch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
This holiday season, JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited wants you to spruce up your celebrations with our Christmas combo loan at up to $200,000 at fixed interest rate, no credit check, and up to 24 months to repay. It's never been a better time to join. Membership is easy and you may be eligible. Conditions apply. Call us or visit www.jpscu.com to learn more and get started today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
Hi, this is Michael from Jamaica Hospital Supplies with a quick word on incontinence. Not all incontinent products are created equal. Our super absorbent incontinent diapers and nighttime briefs provide up to 3 times absorbency and fits better for no leaks. For an active lifestyle, we have a choice of incontinent liners and male guards. Call us at 929-2850. That's 929-2850, or visit our showroom at Jamaica Hospital Supplies, 66 and a half Halfway Tree Road.
Love 101 invites you to set your day before it begins with midnight prayer and praise, Mondays at midnight. It's the third prayer watch, a period of much spiritual activity. You will be strengthened during this time of prayer and praise. Midnight prayer and praise is during the third watch of the night, the time to strengthen yourself spiritually and seek direction. Time to command your day. Midnight prayer and praise, Mondays at midnight through to 3 a.m. early Tuesday morning. 3 hours to set your day with prayers offered in each hour. Midnight prayer and praise is on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the program Family Time. My name is Joan Pinkney, and you are tuned to Love 101 FM. It's now 6:02, 2 minutes after 6 p.m. As I said, you're tuned to Love 101, and this is Family Time. Our show this evening is about the before you say I do. Family Love Time is brought to you by Family Life Ministries, and Family Life Ministries provides counseling for persons from all walks of life with different challenges. Listen up, counselors, psychologists, pastors, and marriage officers. Family Life Ministries has just released the third edition of its books, Before They Say I Do. Oh, yes, they have both the manual and the questionnaire. So call Family Life Ministries to get your copy today. Family Life Ministries has another book for sale that may interest those who are single, the married, and the soon to be married. It's entitled Questions on Love, Sex, and yes, Marriage. So you may purchase this book, the latter, Questions on Love, Sex, and Marriage, at Family Life Ministries as well, at Brian's Bookstore, at Source of Light, and at the Jamaica Baptist Union Bookstore. We have with us in the studio the wonderful, the lovely lady, Miss Sonia Winter, an associate clinical psychologist and founder of Tea House Party. We've been talking about, as I said before, the topic, what do you need to know before you say I do? Do we have yes, we have a question or an answer to the question. No, we don't. I thought we did. No, we don't. Let's hear from you, please. We want to hear what you have to say. What is it that you want to know before you say I do? All right, let's continue, Madame Sonia. I know we still have the the break in between, but we're trying to do our best as we can. So, what about the red flags? So you may see what we consider to be a red flag, meaning something that we don't like or something that doesn't really rest well with our value system. How do we treat with that when we see that when we're in counseling or even before we go into counseling? How do we treat with that? What would you suggest?
Okay, well, first of all, it's important to know a red flag when you see it. So let me give you some hints as to what some red flags might be. I would say if you're noticing that your partner is often making decisions without consideration for you, that may be a signal that your partner is going to have difficulty kind of sharing a role as a partnership, you know. And that's something that you really want to have the agency and the language to be able to bring up with your partner in a way that's constructive and in a way that can build a different way of decision making. So I think an important thing to look out for is to how does your partner make decisions? You know, is it now within consideration of your feelings? Are they making decisions for their own life in consideration of your well-being, of your preferences, and you know, your just in consideration of you. That's a very, very important thing to look out for, I would say. And how do you treat with it? Again, it's very important to be able to have a constructive conversation where you bring it up without attacking your partner. You know, without having the ability to express how you feel and what your needs are, what you would like, so that you can negotiate a different way of decision making with your partner. That's one red flag I would say to look out for, Joan.
And to say that a red flag does not mean that you have to abort the relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that. What it means is that you need to talk about it, is that you need to raise it, that you need to express it, as you said. But sometimes persons see these things and and sometimes the person is not even aware that they're doing it. So it's very important, as you said, to talk about it. And that's where the facilitator, the counselor, helps with that.
Yeah. Right.
You're saying?
Indeed.
Right.
For sure.
So what about finances?
Sorry, go ahead, John.
What about finances Now, as saying, what about children, finances, those kinds of topics that persons may think that, well, it's not a big deal to talk it through. Is it important to talk through
Yes.
as to whether you want to have children or not, or how many you want to have? Yeah, some person may want to have a football team. I may just want two. Yeah. So is it important to talk?
Hmm. Yes, those are the questions that most couples are told to speak about. They are, they're important decisions that have to have a collective decision, as it were, between two of them.
Right.
And just to repeat what you said, sure, children, that's a decision that you have to make together. Um,
Right.
Finances, how are you going to, what are your important financial goals? Some people, they want to improve their lifestyle, and others sort of want to ensure that they have security. Um, it's, and how are you
Right.
going to
Yes.
account for your finances is an very important decision and conversation to have, for sure.
Right. For sure. Also, what is your debt like? Yeah, what is your debt like? And do you have a lot of loans, and do you owe Tom, Dick, Harry, and Mary Jane? Those things are important to talk about and to declare so that you know exactly what you're getting into.
Exactly.
Yes,
I agree,
yes.
for sure.
There's a very sensitive topic that sometimes, as particular in as Christians, we tend to not want to talk much
I
about
wanted
it.
to, and I need to
Sex,
get my
and sexuality and sex, because of course we know that sexuality involves the whole discussion of sex, but often it is lumped as one. But we know that sexual orientation can be so different in terms of this discussion. So how do you treat with that? Is that important, or do we just allow the Lord to lead, especially in Christendom? Yes. Are you there? I hope we haven't lost you. All right. So while
Hi,
she
June.
is,
Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
And would you mind just repeating the question for me?
I was making a point about sexuality, and that whilst it incorporates sex, very often persons tend to see sexuality as sex and not recognizing that there are other aspects to sexuality. But I really wanted to say though that in Christendom or in church, sometimes we find it difficult to talk about the sex and what that entails and how we should conduct ourselves and the various views on it. Tell us a little bit about why is this it's important for us to talk it through.
Yeah. In terms of sexuality, I mean, typically, two people choose each other in line with what their sexual preferences are. If you're speaking of sexuality in terms of heterosexual couples versus same sex couples, I'm not sure if that's what you're
Right.
referring to.
Well, I was just making the point that often we refer to sexuality as as sex, and not recognizing that sexuality in and of itself encompasses more than just the sexual act. So I was just making the point, but really wanted to ask you to talk some more about why is it important for us to talk about sex as a couple.
Yeah. I guess because that's a
Yeah,
very
very
important part of intimacy going forward. It's a critical part of how the couple will share their life. And so to understand where each person is coming from will be a very important component. It's I think that both individuals need to have a sense of what are their positions on sexuality, particularly if they're going to have a family together. Those rules are going to apply to how they treat with their children, how they educate their children, and of course how they treat with each other and what intimacy will look like for them.
Right. Very, very good. We're gonna head to another break or final break, but I wanted to think about prenuptial agreements. And I'm not sure it's very popular in our culture, but certainly it is something that has been forwarded in these discussions of premarital counseling. Religion is another big topic that um, is should be on the plate for discussion in relation to premarital. So please be thinking about those two. Whether persons from different denominations, if it is good, there are some churches will tell you, oh, if you're not with in the same denomination, you're going to have issues, and so it is best that you keep it in that line. But let's talk a little bit about that when we come back. So we're heading to our final break, unfortunately, but it is what it is. For those who are just joining us, this is Family Time on Love 101 FM. And we are also on YouTube and Facebook. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries. For our social media interaction, we want you to give us a response to the question: what do you need to know before you say I do? Let's know via WhatsApp, text message, or voice message what you think about that question. Send us those messages to 876-997-3125. Or if you prefer to send us a message on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. We also have studio lines and we would really, really like to hear from you. So please, we want to hear what you have to say. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Tis the season for warmth and comfort. Gift yourself a Chromogen solar water heater this holiday season. Say goodbye to high utility costs and hello to hot water on demand.
I switched to a Chromogen solar water heater, and it's the best decision I've ever made for my home, not to mention my pocket.
Already own a Chromogen water heater? Contact us now and find out how you can save with our after-sales servicing and support. Visit one of our 3 locations today: Kingston, Montego Bay, or our superstore in Manchester. Call us 876-603-3946-7. Make the smart switch with Chromogen solar water heaters. Choose experience, choose expertise, and master the elements with Isratech.
There's a need for a place like this. 8 crucial portfolios under one roof. For your convenience with expedience, your experience is the real difference. Where policy impacts change. Here at JC, feel the difference.
See the difference of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Feel the difference.
Meg JC.
You can feel it. Meg JC.
Every Thursday morning, Love 101 shares with you power-packed messages, words of encouragement, and testimonies of God's miraculous power. You get all of that in the Don't Give Up broadcast, brought to you by Celebration Church at the Portmore Skating Ring in the Portmore Mall with Pastor Prophet Michael Carter. Be sure to stay tuned to Love 101 for the Don't Give Up broadcast. Get the word you need to start your day right. The Don't Give Up broadcast, Thursdays at 5:15 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the program Family Time. My name is Joan Pinkney and I'm your host. We have been talking about a very, very important topic. We've been talking about what do you want to know before you say I do. You are tuned, of course, to Love 101, and Family Time is brought to you by Family Life Ministries. Family Life Ministries continue to provide counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. And remember, you can tune into the program via Love 101 FM, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. The topic, as we said before, is before you say I do. What is it that you want to know before you make that final, that big, major decision in your life? Ms. Sonia Winter, Associate Clinical Psychologist and very able lady in the topic, is with us as our guest. She is also the founder of Tea House Therapy. So before we went to the break, Sonia, you're about to tell us, or I asked you to contemplate the question about prenuptial agreements as well as religion. Quickly, can you tell us a little bit about that so that we can have an appreciation for what that is and how that would play out in our context here in Jamaica?
Yes. Okay. So you're right. Prenuptial agreement is not something that is widely practiced in our culture here in Jamaica, and for that reason, it's a notion that we're very uncomfortable with. So, but in different, I've come across different cultures where it's not a big deal, and it doesn't mean anything in particular.
Right. What is it though? What is it so that the listeners who may not know the concept appreciate it? What are you gone? We've been having some major issues with our technology.
Hi there. Can you hear me now, Joan?
I'm hearing you.
Great. Okay. I think there's no delay anymore.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
So tell us what
prenuptial agreement is where people sign a legal contract which describes how their assets will be shared up or divided in the event that the marriage fails and they want to get a divorce. A prenuptial agreement kind of outlines ahead of time before the actual divorce what is expected and how we're going to handle our assets mostly in the event that we have a divorce. Our culture is something we're very, very uncomfortable with because many people would think that, anybody that's asking for a prenuptial agreement has expectations that this is not going to be a sustainable marriage.
It's not going to work. Absolutely, yes.
Exactly.
That's what it connotes to us, yes.
To us here, but I have come across other cultures where it is and I'm thinking about European cultures in particular, where it is such a natural part that it's a document that appears to make both people seem more comfortable and secure that the marriage will last because the division of assets is not an issue. So, it's really,
isn't that something that's a very good, that's an interesting spin on it. That's a very interesting spin.
Really
we have a voice
that
message.
Give to it that can be the problem, But it's the meaning that it connotes that is the problem more than anything else,
Yeah, absolutely. We have a voice message, so let's hear it. Can we go ahead with the voice message?
All right. So I think it is critical that as Christians, for example, that you know the belief system of the individual, and there are going to be ways that you'll have to find really just what they believe, and that is by the situation. Listen to the discussions, engage in certain types of discussions surrounding family and family roles, and from that you can get a feedback of how they perceive the, especially considering modern ideologies and times.
Very good. Very good point. Thank you so much for that. Really very important to have that understanding.
Could I add to that?
Sure.
That I think that this is where faith-based premarital counseling becomes very important, because I think there are young people who they are active churchgoers and practicing churchgoers, but they can't necessarily repeat or represent everything that their doctrine and their denomination tells them about roles and responsibilities, etc. And so so I may be part of a particular denomination, but I may not know all the theological guidelines that apply to my particular denomination. I can't share it with my partner because I can't even articulate them, and so that's where I think premarital counseling becomes very, very helpful, where your
Absolutely.
pastor can guide you to tell you, to help you understand how does your faith and your denomination, your doctrine, how does your
Mhm.
marriage sit within that, and what does it mean, your
Right.
roles, expectations, and so on.
Right. And that's very important also to for the church to play a role in the preparation of the marriage. Very often you find of sorry, preparation of the couple for marriage. Sometimes you find that it's when the cake is in the oven, the dress is at the dressmaker. Well, you don't bother to dressmaker, but the dress is ordered and the suit is ordered and perhaps at the tailor, and you're almost getting ready to line up that person's come for counseling. What time frame would you suggest? And as a someone who engages premarital as well, I have my guidelines in terms of the time frame within which I would say if you're getting married X time, there has to be some period of time prior to, so that you can give yourself a reasonable time. What would you consider to be a reasonable time prior to getting married? So the period for premarital counseling.
Mhm. Well, what I have noticed, you see, Joan,
Mm.
is that different denominations have sort of different curriculum, as it were, to
Right.
cover. You know,
Yes, that's a good word.
also, yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
word.
material to cover. You know,
Yes.
and in my premarital counseling as well, it's 10 sessions,
Right.
10 1 hour sessions, which includes a relationship assessment, which the Gottman Institute does for us on the couple.
Ah.
And what that assessment, the assessment is one session where we are given a report from the Gottman Institute that tells us these are what are the
Mm.
strengths, the communication strengths,
Mm.
relationship strengths that the couple has, and what are some of the
Mm.
challenges that they have, so that we know exactly what we're working on. And then that kind of guides the premarital counseling
Absolutely.
session going forward.
But you do find sometimes, I am assuming that you may make a recommendation, and the recommendation may not be that you're ready for marriage based on your assessment and based on the resources that you use to help you to make that recommendation. And persons may say, boy, she can't say anything. I'm going to go ahead and get married anyway.
Mhm.
Has that
Well,
been your
Joan,
experience at all?
can I tell you, I never tell couples whether or not um, they should or should not get married. I tell them what our
Right.
assessment says they have to work on in order
Right.
to have a successful relationship, and a successful and sustainable
Relationship. Okay.
relationship. And what I've found is that,
Right.
if we have enough time, if they haven't yet committed, then
Mhm.
there are couples who decide,
Right.
I don't want to do this work. They decide on their own whether they want to do that kind of work
Right.
or not. And that's usually the
Right.
guiding factor. But my job is usually to say, well,
Right.
based on this assessment, you need to do a lot of work in this area of the way that you communicate,
Right.
the way you regulate your
Right.
emotions requires a lot of work. You need some skills to
Mm.
help you regulate your emotions a little bit better. These are some of the triggers where you might tend to either shut down and not be able to communicate, or these are some of the triggers
Mm.
that we notice where
Right.
you may become aggressive in how you're expressing yourself, maybe even abusive. So these are some
Mm.
important insights, and we need to give you skills to better
Yes.
handle those triggers, particularly when you're dealing with your partner, because they're sure to come up in your interactions with each other.
At some point in time. Yes, absolutely. Listen, time is not good to us at all. We would want to be able to continue some more because this topic is, as we say in Jamaican parlance, juicy, really good and nice to continue to talk about, very informative. And we really appreciate the knowledge that you have shared with us this evening. Thank you Thanks so much for all persons who have joined us. Thanks for being with us. And if you have questions of a personal nature or you're concerned about a friend or family member, call us, Family Life Ministries. We are here and we want to help you. Our office numbers are 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101. Note that for appointments and information on costs, you must call our offices. Otherwise, please keep up to date on our social media pages. Check out our Facebook page at FLM-Family Life Ministries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries-FLMJA, and on Instagram at Simply FLMJA. But before we leave, we want to share with you a word from the good book. Romans 12 and verse 12 says, Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Romans 12 and verse 12. Join us next week for another very informative program. You cannot afford to miss any of the programs on Family Time at 5:30 on a Monday evening or Monday afternoon into evening. Thanks again to our special guest, Miss Sonia Winter, who has so ably expounded, and we wish we had more time to talk through stuff as it relates to this particular topic. The topic that we delved in and tried to unpack this evening is before you say I do. And we hope that the share has been good for you. We hope that those persons who have been contemplating marriage have begun to think through some of the things that our guest has shared with us. We're so appreciative of you, Sonia. May God bless you as you continue in your ministry, and we look forward to sharing with you again on that same topic or perhaps another, because we know that you are quite able. Thanks also to our show producer, Kathy Gale. Thanks to Derva Graham for piloting us through this hour. And of course, to you, our listeners. We would not be able to do this program without you. Have a great week. I'm Joan Pinkney, and I wish you enough and plenty blessings. Have a good evening.